The Velen Empire Council met in emergency session on their home world. 12 High Lords sat in a great chamber made of black stone and silver metal. They had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They had never faced a crisis like this. Commander Kale stood before them. His gray skin looked pale under the harsh lights. His 4 eyes moved from one lord to another as he delivered his report. "Conquest of Earth is not possible," Kale said clearly. "The humans possess technology equal to or greater than our own. Their warriors can withstand combat conditions that would kill our soldiers instantly. Their population of 7 billion would resist invasion with every resource available." High Lord Vex slammed his staff against the stone floor. He was the oldest of the lords, with dark patches on his skin and anger in his eyes. One species cannot threaten an empire of 10,000 worlds. Vex shouted, "We have conquered hundreds of civilizations. We have destroyed dozens more. These humans are nothing special." Kale remained calm. "With respect, High Lord, you are wrong." The chamber rebutted in angry voices. No commander had ever spoken to the lords this way. Kale waited until they fell silent. "I have seen human technology with my own eyes," Kale continued. "I have watched a single human ship disable 4 of our warships in seconds. I have studied their history, their biology, their psychology. They are unlike any species we have encountered." He activated a holographic display. Images of human achievements filled the chamber. Their ships, their weapons, their underground facilities. "They detected our probe 53 years ago," Kale explained. "In that time, they developed technology that matches what the Empire created over thousands of years. They did not copy us. They improved upon us. In 50 years, he let that sink in. Now imagine what they will create in another 50 years. In 100 years. In 1,000. Every generation, they become stronger. Every decade, they learn more. If we attack them now, we might win. But they will rebuild. They will improve. And they will come for us." High Lord Mira, the youngest of the lords, leaned forward. "What do you recommend, Commander?" Kale took a deep breath. "I recommend something the Empire has never done before. I recommend peace." The lords erupted again. Peace was weakness. Peace was surrender. The Velen did not make peace with lesser species, but Kale raised his hand. "The humans offer something valuable. They do not want to destroy us. They want to cooperate. They want to share knowledge and explore together. Why would they help us?" Vex demanded. "Because they believe cooperation makes everyone stronger. Because they think war is wasteful. Because they see enemies as potential friends." Kale paused. "These ideas seem strange to us, but I saw them in action. When disaster struck their world, they helped each other without hesitation. When they had the chance to destroy my fleet, they chose restraint." Lord Mira nodded slowly. "They showed mercy. More than mercy," Kale said. "They showed wisdom. They understand something we forgot long ago. True strength is not just the power to destroy. True strength is knowing when not to destroy." The debate lasted for 3 days. The lords argued and shouted and threatened. Some wanted war at any cost. Others feared what the humans could become. In the end, they voted. The decision was close. 7 lords voted for peace. 5 voted for war. The Velen Empire would not conquer Earth. On Earth, Ambassador Nix met with President Minho to negotiate the terms of a new relationship. They sat in a simple room with windows overlooking Seoul. The city bustled with life below them. "This is strange for us," Nix admitted. "We have never negotiated as equals before." Minho smiled gently. "It is strange for us too. We have always been alone on our world. We fought each other because there was no one else to fight. And now?" Minho looked out the window. "Now we have the chance to become something greater. Not conquerors. Not servants. Partners. The negotiations took months. Both sides made compromises. Both sides learned from each other. Slowly, trust began to build. Captain Jiho was assigned to lead the first joint mission between humans and Velen. His crew would explore uncharted space, alongside Lieutenant Ura and a team of Valan scientists. Before departure, Jiho visited his family home in Bizan. His grandmother, a tiny woman of 90 years, sat with him in the garden. "You are going to the stars," she said. Her voice was thin but proud. "Yes, grandmother." She took his hand. Her skin was paper thin, marked with age spots and old scars. "When I was young, we fought a great war. I lost my father, my brothers, my first husband. I thought humanity would destroy itself." She looked up at the sky. "Now you fly among the stars with beings from other worlds. You build peace instead of war." Her eyes filled with tears. "This is what I hoped for. This is what I suffered for." Jiho held her hand gently. "We will make you proud, grandmother. We will show the galaxy what humanity can be." The joint mission launched 1 year after first contact. Captain Jiho commanded the bridge of the new ship, the Dawn Star. Lieutenant Ura served as his second officer. Their crews worked side by side, learning each other's languages and customs. Dr. Hana led the science team. She spent her days translating Velen texts and teaching human literature to curious aliens. Jiwan worked in engineering, showing Velen technicians how human creativity could solve problems in unexpected ways. General Sunwoo watched the launch from Earth. Beside her stood Commander Kale. He had chosen to remain on Earth as a permanent ambassador. "Your grandmother was right," Kale said. "Humanity is remarkable." Sunwoo smiled. "We have made many mistakes. We have caused much suffering. But we always try to be better. That is what makes you dangerous," Kale said. "And what makes you wonderful." In the years that followed, the alliance between Earth and the Velen Empire grew stronger. Human creativity combined with Velen resources to achieve things neither species could accomplish alone. New technologies emerged. New worlds were discovered. New friendships formed. Other species in the galaxy took notice. Some feared the humans. Some admired them. All respected them. The Velen had conquered through force for 10,000 years. They had built an empire of servants and slaves. But that empire was hollow. It could only destroy. It could not create. The humans showed them another way. Partnership instead of conquest. Creation instead of destruction. Hope instead of fear. On the 5th anniversary of first contact, a ceremony was held on Earth. Leaders from both species gathered to celebrate the new age of cooperation. President Minho gave a speech that was broadcast across the galaxy. "5 years ago, strangers came to our world," Minho said. "They came expecting to find weak prey. Instead, they found something unexpected. They found a species that refused to submit, that refused to fear, that refused to give up." He paused, looking at the crowd of humans and Velen standing together. But more importantly, they found a species that wanted peace, that believed in cooperation, that saw enemies as future friends. He smiled. The galaxy thought humanity would be nothing, a footnote in history, a conquered people on a forgotten world. But we showed them something else. We showed them that strength is not just power. Strength is the choice to build instead of destroy, to help instead of harm, to love instead of hate. He raised his glass to the new age, to the partnership between Earth and the Empire, to the future we will build together. The crowd cheered. Humans and Velen standing side by side, celebrating a future that once seemed impossible. Commander Kale stood at the back of the crowd. He thought about everything that had happened. The discovery, the fear, The demonstration. The decision. The transformation. He had come to Earth expecting to find another weak species to conquer. Instead, he had found something that changed everything. He had found humanity, and the galaxy would never be the same. The demonstration took place in orbit above Earth. The Velen warship Silver Wind hung in the darkness of space, surrounded by 15 support vessels. Commander Kale stood on the bridge with his officers. They watched through massive windows as a single human ship approached. The human vessel was small. It was shaped like a blade, black and silver, with sharp angles that seemed to cut through space itself. Inside were Captain Jiho and a crew of 12 volunteers. Military advisor Tarn laughed. "One ship? They send one ship against our fleet? This is an insult." Lieutenant Ora checked her screens. The ship contains 12 life signs. Crew of 12. 12 humans against 300 Velen? Tarn shook his head. "They are more foolish than I thought." But Commander Kale said nothing. He remembered the underground facility. He remembered the weapons he had seen. He knew this demonstration was not about numbers. General Sunwoo's voice came through the communication channel. She was watching from Earth with President Minho and the Human Council. "Commander Kale," she said, "please give your fleet a simple order. Try to hit that ship." Tarn snorted. "With pleasure." He turned to the weapons officer. "All ships, fire at will." The Velen fleet opened fire. Plasma bolts streaked through space like angry stars. Missiles launched in clouds. Energy beams swept across the darkness. It was enough firepower to destroy a moon. The human ship moved. It did not fly. It did not turn. It danced. Captain Jiho's vessel twisted through the wall of plasma fire like water flowing through rocks. It rolled past missiles that missed by centimeters. It bent around energy beams that should have been impossible to dodge. How? Ora gasped. Her screens could barely track the human ship. It was moving too fast, changing direction too quickly. On the bridge of his ship, Jiho smiled. The Gi forces pressed against his body like a giant hand trying to crush him. Any Velen would have died instantly. Their bodies were fragile, built for low gravity. But humans had evolved on a heavy world. They had chased prey across open plains for millions of years. Their bodies were built to endure. "Increase speed," Jiho ordered. His crew responded instantly. They had trained for this moment since childhood. They pushed their bodies beyond any reasonable limit. Blood vessels strained. Muscles burned. Hearts pounded. But they did not stop. The human ship accelerated to a speed that should have turned its crew to liquid. It spun through the Velen fleet like a phantom. No matter how many weapons fired, no matter how many ships tried to trap it, the human vessel always escaped. "Impossible," Tarn whispered. "No living creature can survive those forces." Dr. Yuna's voice came through the channel. She was watching from the underground facility with her medical team. "Human bodies are different," she explained calmly. "We evolved as persistent predators. Our ancestors chased animals across endless distances until the animals collapsed from exhaustion. We learned to ignore pain. We learned to push past limits. Our bodies adapted to survive what should kill us." The human ship suddenly reversed direction. It dove straight toward the Silver Wind. The Velen crew panicked. Weapons officers fired wildly. Pilots tried to turn their massive ship away. Jiho's vessel slipped past every defense. It flew alongside the Silver Wind so close that Kale could see the human captain through the window. Jiho waved. Then, in 3 precise movements, the human ship fired its weapons. Not to destroy. Not to kill. Just to demonstrate. The first shot disabled the Silver Wind's main engine. The second shot destroyed their weapon systems. The third shot shut down their shields. The entire attack took 4 Seconds, Commander Kale's ship drifted helplessly in space. Around him, 3 other Velen vessels had suffered the same fate. Their crews were alive, but their ships were dead. That could have been your reactors, General Sumu said. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. That could have been your life support. We chose to spare you. Remember that. Silence filled the bridge. Lieutenant Aura stared at her blank screens. 1 ship, she said quietly. 12 humans. They disabled 4 of our warships without taking a single hit. Tarn had no response. His face had gone pale. His hands trembled. The human ship returned to Earth. On the surface, Navigator Do Yoon met with the Velen delegation. He was a young man who specialized in history. His job was to show them why they had truly lost. You have seen what our technology can do, Do Yoon said. He led them through the underground facility to a room filled with images and videos. Now let us show you what our people can do. The screens came alive with human history. They showed wars that lasted centuries. Humans fighting each other with swords, with guns, with bombs. Millions dead. Cities destroyed. Entire countries burned. This is who we are, Do Yoon said. We have been fighting since we first stood on 2 legs. We killed each other for land, for resources, for ideas. We never stopped. The images changed. Now they show disasters, earthquakes, floods, diseases, ice ages. We survived extinction events that killed almost every other species on our planet, Do Yoon continued. When the world turned against us, we adapted. When nature tried to destroy us, we endured. When everything said we should die, we refused. The screens showed humans climbing mountains, crossing oceans, exploring caves. They showed humans surviving in deserts with no water. They showed humans living in frozen lands with no warmth. We spread across our entire world, Do Yoon said. We conquered every environment. We ate anything we could find. We built shelters from anything we could gather. No obstacle stopped us. No challenge defeated us. Colonel Heron entered the room. She was an older woman with short gray hair and a face marked by old scars. She had fought in many human wars before learning about the aliens. Your empire fears death, Heron said quietly. Your species avoids risk. You conquer the weak because you are afraid of fighting the strong. She stepped closer to Commander Kale. Humans are different. We have lived alongside death since our first breath. Every human knows they will die. Every human has lost someone they love. We do not fear death because we have seen it too many times to be afraid. She pointed to the scars on her face. I have been shot 3 times. Stabbed twice. Burned once. Each time, I got back up and continued fighting. Not because I am special, because that is what humans do. Dr. Yuna appeared on a screen behind her. The average human can continue functioning with injuries that would kill most species. We can lose blood, break bones, suffer burns, and still fight. Our bodies produce chemicals that block pain during crisis. Our minds can override physical limitations through pure will. Tael thought about his own soldiers. The Velen were physically weak. They had long ago replaced combat with technology. They relied on shields and weapons, not bodies and will. If we invaded your planet, Kale said slowly, what would happen? Heron smiled grimly. You would face 7 billion humans who have been preparing for war since childhood. Every city would become a fortress. Every building would become a trap. Every human would become a soldier. She leaned forward. We would fight you in the streets, in the mountains, in the forests, in the oceans. We would fight you with weapons and with rocks and with our bare hands. You might win battles. You might destroy cities. But you would never defeat us. We would fight until the last human died. She paused. And long before that happened, your empire would learn something important. Some pray is too costly to hunt. Commander Kale finally understood. The weapons were impressive. The technology was remarkable. But these were not what made humans dangerous. What made humans dangerous was their refusal to accept defeat. What made them dangerous was their ability to endure anything and keep fighting. What made them dangerous was something the Velen had lost long ago. The will to survive at any cost. Kale looked at his officers. He looked at the screens showing human history. He looked at the scars on Colonel Heron's face. "We cannot conquer these people," he said quietly. Tarn started to protest. "Commander, the Empire will not accept." "The Empire will accept reality," Kale interrupted. "These humans are not like other species. They will not surrender. They will not serve. And they will not stop fighting until we are all dead." He turned to General Sunwoo. "What do you want?" Sunwoo's expression softened slightly. "We want peace. We want cooperation. We want to explore the stars not as enemies, but as allies." Kale nodded slowly. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Velen Empire would have to find another way. The convoy traveled through the night. Commander Kale sat in a human vehicle, surrounded by his guards. Lieutenant Aura sat beside him, her 4 eyes watching everything. Ambassador Nix and military advisor Tarn were in the vehicle behind them. They drove into the mountains of Korea. The roads became smaller. The forests grew thicker. Kale saw no human settlements, no lights, no signs of civilization. "Where are you taking us?" Kale demanded. General Sunwoo sat across from him. Her face showed nothing. "To the truth." After 3 hours, the convoy stopped at the base of a mountain. There was nothing there except trees and rocks. No buildings. No structures. Nothing. "This is a joke," Tarn said when he stepped out of his vehicle. "There's nothing here." Dr. Hannah, the language expert, walked to a large boulder. She placed her hand on it. A blue light scanned her palm. The ground began to shake. The boulder split open. Behind it was a massive metal door. It was 30 meters tall and covered with symbols Kale did not recognize. "Welcome to Facility 7, Hannah said. "This is one of 12 hidden bases we built after we first detected your Empire's signals." Kale stared at the door. "How long ago?" 53 years ago, Hannah answered. "We intercepted communications from one of your scout probes. We learned about the Empire. We learned what you do to other species. And we decided to prepare." The door opened slowly. Beyond it was a tunnel leading deep into the mountain. Blue lights lined the walls. The air hummed with energy. Kale walked forward in a daze. His guards followed, their weapons ready. But their hands were shaking. They could feel it too. Something was very wrong. The tunnel went down for almost a kilometer. The air grew warmer. The humming grew louder. Finally, they emerged into a massive underground chamber. Kale stopped breathing. The chamber was enormous, bigger than any structure he had ever seen. It was filled with machines, vehicles, and weapons that made Velen technology look like children's toys. Thousands of humans worked at stations, monitoring screens filled with data Kale could not understand. "This is impossible," Ura whispered. Science Officer Tarn pushed forward, his eyes wide. "These energy signatures, these materials, this is advanced technology. More advanced than ours." A young scientist named G1 stepped forward. She was small and thin, with glasses and messy hair. But her voice was strong and confident. 53 years ago, we captured one of your probes," G1 explained. "We took it apart piece by piece. We learned everything about Velen technology. Then we improved it." She pointed to a row of large machines. "Those are our reactors. They produce 50 times more energy than your best power plants. We developed them in 20 years. She pointed to a line of sleek vehicles. Those are our ships. They can travel faster than anything in your fleet. We built them in 15 years. She pointed to a wall covered with weapons. Those are our guns. They fire plasma, antimatter, and particles you do not even have names for. We designed them in 10 years. Kale felt his legs weaken. How? You are a young species. You have only had technology for a few hundred years. General Sungwoo stepped beside Jiwon. That is exactly why we were able to do this. Your empire is old. You stopped innovating thousands of years ago. You use the same weapons your ancestors used. You think the same thoughts your ancestors thought. She looked directly into Kale's 4 eyes. Humans are different. We never stop learning. We never stop improving. Every generation builds on the work of the one before. We do not preserve the past. We surpass it. Commander Kale walked through the facility in silence. He saw weapons that could destroy cities. He saw shields that could block any attack. He saw ships that could outrun light itself. But the worst part was the soldiers dot in a side chamber, human warriors trained for combat. They wore armor that responded to their thoughts. They carried weapons that recognized their DNA. They moved with speed and precision that seemed impossible. Captain Jiho met them there. He was wearing the black armor of a human special forces soldier. In his hands was a rifle that glowed with blue energy. We've been training for this war since before I was born, Jiho said. Every human soldier knows about the Empire. Every human soldier knows what you do to other species. We have been preparing our whole lives. Tarn finally spoke. His voice was weak. Why did you hide this? Why pretend to be weak? President Minho appeared on a large screen above them. His face was calm, almost kind. Because we wanted to understand you first, Minho explained. We wanted to know if you could be reasoned with. We wanted to know if there was any chance for peace. And? Kale asked. Minho's expression hardened. Your empire sent you here to enslave us. To take our planet. To make our children into servants. You decided our fate before you even met us. He leaned forward. So now you have seen what we can do. Now you know that we are not helpless. The question is, what will you tell your empire? Kale looked around the facility. He looked at the weapons, the ships, the soldiers. He thought about his fleet waiting in orbit. 300 Velen against the entire human race. If we attack, Kale said slowly, what will happen? General Sunwoo answered. Your ships will be destroyed within 1 hour. Your soldiers will die within 1 day. Your home world will receive a warning that Earth is not to be touched, ever. And if we leave peacefully? Minho spoke again. Then you return to your empire and deliver a message. Earth is not weak. Earth is not prey. Earth will not be conquered. But Earth does not want war. Kale felt something he had never felt before. He felt respect. These humans had every reason to attack. They had the power to destroy his entire fleet. They could kill him right now and face no consequences. But they were offering him a choice. Why? Kale asked. Why give us this chance? Dr. Hana answered this time. Her voice was soft but firm. Because war is wasteful. Because death is sad. Because we believe even enemies can become friends. These ideas may seem strange to you, Commander, but they are what make us human. Kale stood in silence for a long moment. His whole understanding of the universe had been shattered in one night. Everything he believed was wrong. The Velen were not the greatest species in the galaxy. They were not invincible. They were not even the most advanced. These strange, soft, fragile creatures from a small blue world had surpassed them in every way. And the most frightening part? They had done it in just 50 years. What could they do in 100 years? 1,000? 10,000? Kale looked at General Sunwoo. You said technology is not what makes you dangerous. What did you mean? Sunwoo smiled. It was not a cruel smile. It was the smile of a teacher about to share an important lesson. Come, she said. Let us show you what humans really are. The Velen delegation stayed on Earth for 30 cycles. In human time, this was almost 2 months. Ambassador Nyx led the study of humanity. She was older than Kale, with wisdom lines around her 4 eyes. She had assessed more than 100 species for conquest. She knew exactly what to look for. The humans confused her. On the first day, Nyx visited a human hospital in Seoul. Dr. Yuna, a young doctor with kind eyes, showed her around. The hospital was full of sick and injured humans. Nyx watched as doctors cut open bodies and fixed them. She saw machines that pumped blood. She saw humans with replaced hearts, new kidneys, artificial legs. This is impossible, Nyx said. Your body should not survive such damage. Yuna smiled gently. Our bodies are very good at healing. We have been fighting injuries since we first existed. Our cells know how to repair themselves. Nyx made notes on her tablet. She wrote, humans show unusual physical resilience. Require more study. On the 5th day, Nyx visited a human school. Children sat in rows, learning mathematics and science. They were small and weak, with soft skin and fragile bones. But their eyes were sharp. They asked questions constantly. They wanted to know everything. Why do you teach them so much? Nyx asked the teacher, a woman named Sora. Sora looked surprised. Because knowledge makes us strong. A human who knows things can survive anything. Nyx thought about this. In the Velen Empire, only the ruling class received education. Servants were kept ignorant. It made them easier to control. But these humans taught everyone, even the smallest children. She wrote, humans value knowledge highly. Even low-status members receive education. Unusual social structure. On the 10th day, Nyx watched human soldiers training. Military advisor Tarn stood beside her, his arms crossed over his chest. He laughed at what he saw. Look at them, Tarn said. They run until they collapse. They fight until they bleed. Why did they punish themselves? General Sunwoo stood nearby, watching her soldiers with pride. We train hard because battle is hard. A soldier who has suffered in training will not break in war. Tarn shook his head. Your weapons are primitive. Your armor is weak. Training means nothing when you face plasma fire. Sunwoo did not argue. She simply nodded and said, you are probably right. But Nyx noticed something. The human soldiers ran faster than any species she had ever studied. They fought longer. When they fell, they got back up. One young soldier broke his arm during combat training. He finished the exercise before going to the medical tent. She wrote, human pain tolerance exceeds all known species. They continue functioning despite severe injury. This requires explanation. On the 15th day, Nyx attended a human religious ceremony. Hundreds of humans gathered in a large building to sing and pray. They believed in things they could not see. They had faith in powers beyond their understanding. Why do you do this? Nyx asked a priest named Father Junho. The old man smiled warmly. Because we need hope. Life is hard. We suffer. We lose people we love. Faith gives us the strength to continue. Nyx did not understand faith. The Velen believed only in power and conquest. They had no gods. They needed no hope. But she saw how the humans left the ceremony with lighter steps and brighter eyes. She wrote, humans use belief systems to maintain psychological stability. They can endure hardship through mental discipline alone. On the 20th day, Nyx witnessed something that changed everything. A massive earthquake struck a city in Japan. Buildings fell. Fire spread. Thousands of humans were trapped under rubble. Nyx expected chaos. She expected panic. She expected humans to fight each other for survival. Instead, she saw something she had never seen before. Humans from all over the world sent help. Planes carried food and medicine. Ships brought supplies. Soldiers from countries that had once been enemies worked side by side to rescue strangers. People who had nothing gave what little they had. Nyx watched a young Korean man named Do-yun dig through rubble for 16 hours without rest. His hands bled. His back ached. But he kept digging until he found a Japanese child buried under concrete. He carried the child to safety, then went back to dig for more survivors. Why? Nyx asked him. That child is not from your country. Why risk yourself for a stranger? Do-hyun looked at her with tired eyes. Because she needed help. Because I could give it. What other reason do I need? Nyx had no answer. In the Velen Empire, different species never helped each other. The strong conquered the weak. That was the natural order. But humans broke this rule without even thinking about it. She wrote, humans display extreme cooperative behavior. They help strangers at personal cost. They work together across cultural and national boundaries. This contradicts all known models of species behavior. Commander Kale received Nyx's reports each day. At first, he dismissed her concerns. Humans were primitive. Their technology was weak. The Empire had conquered species much more powerful than this, but the reports kept coming. And each one made Kale more uneasy. Humans healed faster than any known species. They tolerated pain better than any known species. They learned faster than any known species. They cooperated better than any known species. They were also, Kale noticed, hiding something. Whenever the Velen asked to see military bases, the humans showed them old facilities with old weapons. Whenever they asked about scientific research, the humans showed them simple laboratories doing simple experiments. Everything looked primitive. Everything looked weak. But Kale had seen the look in General Sunwoo's eyes. He had seen the calm confidence in Captain Jiho's smile. These were not the expressions of a conquered people. These were the expressions of people with a secret. What are they hiding? Kale asked Nyx privately. Nyx shook her head. I do not know. They show us everything we ask to see. But I feel we are only seeing what they want us to see. Military Advisor Tarn dismissed their concerns. You worry too much. These humans are primitive animals. They pose no threat to the Empire. I recommend immediate conquest. The Empire Council received Tarn's recommendation. They approved standard integration protocol. The humans would be given a choice. Surrender peacefully and become servants, or resist and be destroyed. Commander Kale delivered the Empire's terms to President Minho. He expected fear. He expected submission. President Minho sat in his chair and listened quietly. When Kale finished speaking, Minho looked at General Sunwoo. She nodded slightly. Commander Kale, Minho said calmly, before you deliver our answer to your empire, I think there is something you should see. Kale felt cold. What do you mean? Minho stood and walked to the window. Outside, the sun was setting over Seoul. The city lights were beginning to glow. You have studied us for 30 cycles, Minho said. You have seen our hospitals, our schools, our soldiers. You have watched us work and pray and help each other. But you have only seen what we chose to show you. What are you saying? Minho turned to face him. His eyes were hard and bright. I am saying, Commander, that everything you know about humanity is wrong. We are not primitive. We are not weak. And we are definitely not easy prey. General Sunwoo stepped forward. Come with us. Let us show you what we really are. For the first time in his long career, Commander Kale felt afraid. The humans were not hiding weakness. They were hiding strength. The Velen Empire had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Their ships traveled between stars like birds flying between trees. They had conquered more than 8,000 worlds. They had met hundreds of alien species. Some they made into servants. Others they destroyed. The Velen believed they were the greatest beings in the universe. Nothing could challenge them. Nothing could surprise them. Commander Kale stood on the bridge of his scout vessel, the Silver Wind. His gray skin shimmered under the ship's blue lights. He had 4 eyes, 2 on each side of his long face. His body was tall and thin, built for a world with low gravity. Behind him, 300 crew members worked at their stations. They had been exploring the outer edges of known space for 2 years. "Commander," said Lieutenant Aura, her silver hair falling over her shoulders, "we have detected something strange." Kale walked to her station. His 4 eyes studied the screen. "What is it?" "Radio signals," Aura said. "Very primitive. They are coming from a small planet in the next system." Kale felt a spark of interest. Finding new species was rare now. The Empire had already found most of the intelligent life in the galaxy. "Show me." The screen changed to show a small blue and green world. It had 1 moon. It orbited a yellow star. The planet was beautiful, Kale admitted to himself. But beauty meant nothing. Only power mattered. "The signals are simple," Aura continued. "Music, voices, pictures. They are broadcasting everything into space without any protection. They do not know how to hide themselves." Kale made a sound of amusement. "Foolish creatures. Any predator could find them." "Indeed, Commander. They call themselves humans." Kale had never heard this name before. He ordered the ship to move closer. As they approached the planet, they intercepted more signals. Television programs. Radio news. The humans talked about small things: sports, politics, entertainment. They seemed to have no idea that a vast empire existed among the stars. "Their technology is primitive," reported Science Officer Tarn. He was older than Kale, with dark spots on his gray skin. "They use chemical rockets. Their computers are slow. Their weapons are simple explosives and projectiles. They pose no threat to us whatsoever." Kale nodded. This was what he expected. "Prepare a report for the Empire Council. Another weak species has been found. Standard integration protocol will apply." Standard integration protocol. It was a polite way of saying conquest. The humans would become servants of the Empire. Their planet would be stripped of resources. Their people would work in Velen factories and mines. This was the way of things. This was how the Empire grew strong. But then something unexpected happened. "Commander," Aura said, her voice suddenly tight. "They are responding to our signals." Kale froze. "What?" "The humans. They detected our approach. They are sending a message directly to us." This was impossible. The Silver Wind used advanced stealth technology. No primitive species should be able to detect them. Kale felt the first small seed of worry plant itself in his chest. "Play the message," he ordered. A human face appeared on the screen. It was a male with black hair and brown eyes. He wore a dark suit. Behind him, Kale could see other humans watching. The male spoke in a calm, clear voice. "To the visitors from beyond our solar system. We are the people of Earth. We welcome you. Please come. We have been waiting for you." The bridge fell silent. Kale stared at the screen. In all his years of service, in all the worlds he had helped conquer, no species had ever said those words. They always ran. They always hid. They always begged for mercy. These humans were waiting for them. On the planet below, in a city called Sol, Captain Jiho stood in a large room filled with leaders from every nation on Earth. He was the one who had sent the message. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. This was the moment humanity had prepared for. "The aliens are coming," he announced. "They have accepted our invitation." The room erupted in nervous whispers. Some leaders looked afraid. Others looked excited. Dr. Hana, a young woman who specialized in alien languages, stepped forward. She had spent years studying the strange signals they had intercepted decades ago. "We know what they want," Hana said. "They have done this to other worlds. They conquer. They enslave. They take everything." President Minho, a tall man with gray hair, raised his hand for silence. "Then why did we invite them here? Why not hide?" General Sunwoo answered. She was a woman in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a face that showed no fear. "Because hiding would only delay the inevitable. They would find us eventually. Better to meet them on our terms." "And what are our terms?" asked a nervous minister. Sunwoo smiled. It was not a warm smile. "We show them what they expect to see. Primitive humans. Weak technology. Easy conquest. And then, when they think they have won, we show them the truth." Captain Jiho looked out the window. In the distance, he could see the alien ship descending through the clouds. It was huge, bigger than any building in the city. Lightning flashed around it as it pushed through the atmosphere. "Remember," Jiho said to the gathered leaders, "we show them nothing. We act afraid. We act weak. Let them think we are easy prey." The alien ship landed in an empty field outside the city. Thousands of soldiers surrounded it, but they carried old rifles. Outdated tanks rolled into position. Everything looked primitive. Everything looked weak. Commander Kale walked down the ramp of his ship. Behind him came 50 Velen guards, each one carrying advanced plasma weapons. Kale looked at the human soldiers with their ancient guns and felt only contempt. This would be one of the easiest conquests in Empire history. A small group of humans approached. At the front was a young man named Taiho. He was a diplomat, chosen because he could stay calm under pressure. Kale noticed scars on Taiho's hands. Old wounds. This human had seen hardship. "Welcome to Earth," Taiho said. His voice did not shake. "We are honored by your visit." Kale studied the young human. Something was wrong. The other species he had conquered always trembled for him. They cried. They begged. This human stood straight and looked directly into Kale's 4 eyes without fear. "I am Commander Kale of the Velen Empire," Kale announced. "Your world is now under our observation. You will cooperate with our study of your species." Taiho bowed his head slightly. "Of course, Commander. We will cooperate fully. Please, let us show you our world. Let us show you who we are." As Taiho led the aliens toward the city, he exchanged a quick look with General Sunwoo. She stood among the primitive tanks, wearing an old military uniform. To the aliens, she looked like just another weak human officer, but her eyes told a different story. They were the eyes of a predator waiting for the right moment to strike. The Velen had conquered thousands of worlds. They had never failed. They believed nothing in the galaxy could challenge them. They had never met humans before, and humans had been preparing for this meeting for a very, very long time.